Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. I want to say thank you for those that have watched the video thus far. The one that I made this morning, it's pretty lengthy. And if you definitely checked the one out from yesterday, thank you for taking the time to watch it. I just wanted to state, of course, something that I again believe that is necessary to state. All right. So, but this is a one that I made this morning. All right. And this is a little long, just a little bit long. And of course, I went over a live trade. I was in a live trade on this one, and you're more than welcome to come take a look at that if you haven't done so already. Uh, what I want to talk about is the trading psychology. All right, so I did make one for you here, but there was a piece of it that I didn't include. All right, and so right here, if you want to catch up on some of that, you can do that here. All right, now the trading psychology. Now I'll show you that I guess the chart from earlier where I took that trade, I'll show you what it looked like if you didn't watch the video yet. And you can watch me take this whole short, this whole way down to the bottom of that trend, took the trend out. All right. Now I drew the diagram here because this again, it's simple and it's something that I want to put in front of you. Now, I'll say this, and this is something I'll go ahead and say to you. When it comes to the psychology of trading, it's how you approach it mentally based on what you've already understood. All right. So what you've come to understand about life and what you have practiced before coming into this field probably is hindering you in some aspect of being able to achieve it if you're not successful at trading. There's already a predisposition for information kind of set in us because we're trained to achieve success based on the accumulation of information. There's jobs that you could have because the years of experience of doing a task, and you become efficient enough to perform the task better than others, so you get paid more. There's a career you can have if you go to college and I guess obtain all of these degrees, and now you can get paid more. So we're kind of trained to believe that the more you know, the more you should succeed financially. All right. Now I'm a high school dropout. I only finished 10th grade, and I don't mind telling you that. I read the dictionary and I play speed chess with so I get my mental exercise. I read metaphysics stuff. There's a lot of information that I like to take in, but it has nothing to do with trading, none whatsoever. All right. So I don't get paid for the stuff that I know that I enjoy. All right. Now there's other stuff that I clearly I know, but my point is this: having information, you have to have the appetite to have the information based on what it is that interests you. And so trading interests me because it was complex when I first saw it. Okay. And I like complexity. That's what I like. I don't care what it is. I like complexity. I like to be able to figure things out. And so I take a level of appreciation for being able to solve something. And so that's where it started for me. And again, I'm a high school dropout. And so the mind of an individual, the psychology of the individual, when they approach this, you have to understand what the mind is expecting to happen. And so when you hear people making long explanations based on something that you may not already understand, you may assume that because of the long explanation that it's worthy, that is worthy of believing, that is acceptable for you to understand it as truth, for you to accept that as being relative. That's not how trading really works. And I spent years self-taught how to look at the chart, and it's not based on the accumulation of information that makes this work. It's quite the opposite. And that may be the very thing that's interfering with your ability to succeed with trading. I gave you a simple number to use when counting the market. Count, just use the trend number, just count it. And then after doing so, just make sure the mid of this bar falls beneath the mid of this bar, or just make sure the mid of this bar is above the high of this bar, and it should go. And so that's simple. May not be popular yet, but that's how the market is moving. And so when I say that this information can stand against any strategy, what I'm only telling you is this: it's not because I can give you a long explanation of the markets. I'm going to give you the shortest one and the one that will show up in everybody's winning trade. I don't care what you're using. Okay. And it's not because I'm so intelligent. I just told you I'm a high school dropout. Spent my time of my life doing things that had nothing to do with jobs. You can understand what that is. All right. So Reading the market is based on simplicity. And so I wouldn't dare waste your time having you run in circles trying to accept a lot of other information when it really just comes down to a basic format, is a very basic model. If you believe in simplicity and you want to be a part of something that makes sense and that's simple and that's repeatable, and that's the other thing. The market is doing the same thing every day. It's only two movements, up, down. That's all it's doing. The explanation doesn't bring about the validity when it comes to whether or not you'll obtain wealth with this. That's not how this works. Now, again, I understand why the mind do that, why the mental, the mental capacity is there to want to accept that's the only way that this could possibly work. Because everything, that's celebrated in America is based on you retaining more information or having an extensive amount of, I guess, experience practicing the same thing. But I just want to go in and tell you that's not the market. All right. Anyone that tells you otherwise, you may want to go ahead and question whether or not it's true and just consider what I'm telling you. Go ahead and count. Go ahead and see if this mid is exceeding or falling below this bar's low or above this bar's high. And if you see this, there's a chance that it can push further. Okay, that's all it is. All right. Now, again, I know so many different entry techniques and methods. I teach people this stuff. So there's a lot of ways that I can tell you to read the candlesticks, places you can hide the stops, how to get in them faster, what particular price level you need to watch while the candle is moving. There's a lot of stuff that I can tell you about these candlesticks. And trust me, it works and very, very well. So much so I'm offering what's simple for free. And counting the bars is free. It's simple. Getting into the trade, knowing it should push you a little bit more, it's free. The only thing you would have to do, again, is just manage your risk. How much you're going to risk on it if you're wrong. That's it. And that's the goal of futures trading. So I wanted to make sure that I stress to you, if you're new to trading or you've been doing this for a while and you're having a hard time with it, maybe it's that preconceived notion that you think that the longer someone gives you an explanation about it, that doesn't make it work. You may think because they're elaborating for so long that that's the reason why it can work, or that's why it can be true, because the market is, it's been, I guess, giving you a difficult time for so long. So don't assume that because the explanation is long and that you've been dealing with the market in a complex way for so long that the two should match, and now all of a sudden you're going to have the solution. I'll leave you with that. All right. So I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.